Well, joining us now is Eytan Meir, a resident of Lod. So paint us a picture of what has been happening in your city. We've been seeing these images, but you have been living this.
The images, first of all, thank you very much for having me. The images don't really describe what has been going on. It has been a war zone and nothing less over the past 3 days. The evenings around last night was 6 o'clock. The previous evening was 10 o'clock. All you hear is nonstop blasts and fires and burning and screams, Allahu Akbar. And it's a very sad situation. You have places literally 200 meters from where I live, where we used to go to buy food in the Makola, to go to the bank, to go to the post office. And now in those places, if we would be there now, we would be murdered. And that's not an exaggeration. And it's very sad. It's very sad because we were living in peace, relative peace until now. And now it's totally different. I was just telling my wife that I found this really nice hardware store 2 weeks ago in one of the Arab neighborhoods. And I was really excited. It was a 5-minute walk away from my house. And I can't see myself now going there in the near future. I just want to feel safe. It's a very, very sad situation.
There are clashes between Arab and Jewish residents of your city?
On this level, yes. I don't think anyone expected it. There was always there's friction here and there. Occasionally, some people stir up violence. But what happened recently was just, I don't think anyone could have foreseen it. The terrorists that have been roaming with impunity throughout the city is just something that is unimaginable. And you keep on thinking, okay, it happened the first night, they weren't ready for it. The police, the security forces weren't ready. The second night, it took them until 1:30 a.m. to come. And the third night tonight, it's still going on. And my community, we're organizing a community watch of people. Whoever has guns are there with guns. Whoever doesn't have guns, they're there with bats and other objects, just protecting our families. Because we know if we're not there, the mob that is trying to break into all these neighborhoods, break into our buildings and murder us. And again, this is not an exaggeration. We see it. We have people in our buildings looking across. And again, this is 100 meters, right? We're in a place that 100 meters, 200 meters, and the Arab neighborhood is already there. And we see the murder in their eyes and just waiting. They're congregating in the circles in different places. And you just see the murder in their eyes. And it's something that's very frightening. What's even more frightening is that we know that there are many great people in the city, great members of the Arab community, and we just don't hear their voices. We don't hear any condemnations. We don't hear any condemnations from the Arab members of Knesset. Mm-hmm. In the preview, you saw the horrible incident in Bat Yam where Jewish extremists lynched that Arab man, and that was disgusting and horrible. And you'll see every Jewish MK condemning it. This is something that's awful, and that's the difference between us. We condemn our extremists, but on their side, there's no condemnation, and that's something that's horrible, and it needs to be finished.
We have Eytan still on the line with us, a resident of Lod who wants to respond to what you're saying, Eytan.
Yeah, I just heard two of the things of the guests that were saying. They mentioned about how both sides there's an atmosphere of violence and hatred. This is completely false. We've seen this peddled over and over again over the past few days. There is one side that's the aggressor here. Me and my family and the residents of Lod, we want to live in peace. We have been living in peace. You have a mob of 100 bloodthirsty terrorists, and they're terrorists. There's no other word for it, coming to murder Jews. There is no equivalence between both sides here. Well, there's no equivalence, and that has to be said, and that has to be understood by every single person watching this program. You have one side that wants to murder Jews, and the other side is defending themselves.
We are seeing Jewish extremists now, attempting to lynch people in the streets of Bat Yam.
Exactly.
Well, it's not. It hasn't been one case, sadly.
And it was awful.
It's not the case in Lod, in fairness to our guests, but it's the case in many other cities.
Right.
Not just Bat Yam.
And again, this is awful. And the singular cases, the 1, 2, 3 cases are awful. They should be condemned. But there is no equivalent. And that's the problem with your preview. You said this happened in Lod and this happened to Jewish extremists. Yes, that is awful what's happening when the Jewish extremists, the 1, 2, 3 cases. But the vast majority, the 99.9% of cases are coming from one side. And that has to be said. And this moral equivalence that's being drawn between both sides is completely false. And that should stop being peddled.
Go ahead, Martin.
Well, there is joint responsibility, Eytan. There is a joint responsibility. There were this very provocative act in Sheikh Jarrah. There was also very strong tactics in the
enforcing the law.
Well, it's not enforcing the law. It's you can enforce it, and you can enforce it. You can force it. You can make a large presence, a small presence. You can let things pass.
If someone doesn't pay rent for decades, right? They have to be evicted. That is a simple.
Yes, but we know that we're evicting people from.
This is how are terrorists? Okay, guys, we are going out for a quick break right now, so I'm going to have to stop every single one of you. We will be